And also, we talk about the fact that, we live in this liberal, metropolitan bubble. But why is it acceptable, Calvin, that if you deviate from the standard rhetoric as a mixed race bloke, as a black guy, and you say, well, I disagree with this, why is it then acceptable for somebody to use racial epithets against you?
Well, exactly, because I'm preaching for equality. I hated being the victim of, and I don't like that word, but the victim of racism or experiencing racism. I don't want anyone to experience racism, whether they're black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter to me. That's what equality means, that nobody should experience that. But the moment I stand up and say that, I get accused of being a race traitor, I get called an Uncle Tom, a coon, a house nigger, all of these horrible, derogatory, racist terms. And people, again, think I'm fair game because I'm not subscribing to their approved narrative. And it's very much a form of control. Like, they don't feel like they control me, therefore I am against them, therefore I'm a bad guy, and they can call me whatever the hell they like. It baffles me how someone can consider themselves an anti-racist while being racist towards people like me.
And who are the types of people who make these claims, who say these things to you? Do they come from a standard part of the argument, political spectrum, race, gender, etc.?
Well, it tends to be people on the hard left, and quite often it tends to be other people of ethnic minority status, so other black and Asian people. Mostly it's other black people that call me things like house Negro, but I have been called that recently by a Bangladeshi woman, which is fascinating for me because that is clearly then racism, but it was still accepted, And so it comes from this, stepping away, like I say, from the approved narrative. It is the establishment's opinion that we need to protect ethnic minorities. And I get where they're coming from. That's a very well-intentioned thing, to want to protect people, but I think it's patronizing. I think we need to treat all people equally. We don't need to treat people in a special way because they happen to have brown skin. And that's where it all comes from. I think this perceived racism, this, if people don't happen to get where they want to be in life, they'll blame it on systemic racism. If people don't get a job, they'll blame it on racism. If people don't if people don't get anything at this point, people are living very entitled lives, I think. And it's easy to pass on that excuse. But I don't think it's their fault. I don't think people are thinking, I'll blame that on racism. I think they've been taught this from a young age. And we've talked about this in the past, and I know you've had other guests, because I was a governor at Michaela School, for example, with Catherine Berbelsing, which she founded. But schools like that, and while I was in school, I tried to teach all young people that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what your background is, what your race is. We're all here together. We're British. That's the thing that unites us. That's our community. And if you work hard, keep your head in your books, you'll be able to make a success of your life. Whereas a lot of other schools, especially in the state sector in this country, are teaching young people that actually, you're a victim. Like I said earlier, you've got hurdles to overcome, you've got barriers, and that is self-perpetuating, because the more you tell young people that, the more they'll start to believe it.